Hello everyone, welcome to our Let's Play series of Disco Elysium. This is Colonel RPG as usual, and I'm very happy that you chose to join me today as I ramble at the mega rich light bending guy. This game just keeps getting better and better, honestly, in its characters. I am so glad I save scummed again, because that's the second time I save scum in two major encounters. I'm very glad that I save scummed, because we failed the check the first time around. And now I'm talking to the mega rich light bending guy who is bringing all of the subtext to the fore. He's talking about so many important things. Oh man, I love it. I love it. And last episode he says it's a shame I can't get out. Oh, by the way, before I proceed with that, last episode Kim said that he doesn't see him as weird. I wonder why that is. I wonder if my character had if I had chosen different things. If my character was somehow different, I wonder if this would be somehow different. I suspect not, because it honestly would lose a lot of its impact, and certainly the metaphor over there. But I think it might be a telling of, or might be like character building of Kim, the fact that he just sees him as a normal person. Not to mean that Kim is rich, but rather maybe Kim is just so... It has drowned already. To call back to my metaphor from last episode about drowning and wetting your toes. And the mega rich light bending guy says, it's a shame I can't get out and explore myself. One of the downsides of being an extremely high net worth individual is that mobs of low net worth individuals are constantly banding together to ask for money. And I rambled a lot about this particular answer. Let's see what this one. So you travel from place to place via a shipping container. That's really the least interesting bit of it. Let's say that one. Why don't you help them? You've got so much money, it can't make a difference to you. There simply aren't enough hours a day to hand out all the handouts. It's like feeding seagulls. There are always more, and they never seem to do anything interesting with it, except more seagulls. Spending money is a matter of desire. I'm sure you agree. I don't have the desire for spending it like that. Oh, I'm really glad I talked about the things that I did last episode. And about how this is misguided. Like, I remember being a kid and wondering this very same thing. And then I learned about why people are rich. And why people are poor. And why the systems allow for such things. In fact, ensure that there are such things as that. And he just says, this is a lie. He says a lie. That's what he says. I'm sure he doesn't want to, but his justification is that he doesn't have enough time to give all the handouts, which is just another way of phrasing it to, don't have enough money to give all the handouts, which is a lie, as we can see down there. What I said last episode, just a brief recap, is that if he did make handouts, he would change the system that made him a billionaire and made him so much more valuable than everybody else. So, really, the handouts aren't handouts at all. What they are is they're breaking the system down. And he doesn't want to do that, which he's telling the truth, for sure. I don't have desire for spending it like that. So you travel from place to place via shipping container. Smart, no? It also provides a means to hide from all the targeted advertising we extremely high net worth individuals are constantly subjected to. What are you referring to? Luxury yachts, high-fidelity portable radio systems, pale-proof underwear, or actually outerwear, and so on. It just gets a bit middle class after a while. A bit bourgeois. Interesting use of that word. Bourgeoisie isn't middle class. No, wait. No, it isn't. The word bourgeoisie comes from pre-capitalistic society, even though it's literally the class of traders and people who trade a lot and merchants and all that sort of stuff. But it's not you just because you're a merchant in like 1500s or 1600s, it doesn't mean that you're bourgeoisie. You can be a merchant and not be bourgeoisie. Bourgeoisie is specifically the people who have made money out of trading, rather than being of a noble class and being and having a family of nobility, basically. So it, like, the word itself has changed meaning over the years because it doesn't apply to us anymore. Even though there are still countries with monarchies, and certainly countries with nobility, and certainly there's a distinct there's a marked distinction between the way nobility has always spent their money in comparison to the bourgeoisie, and certainly from everybody else. And that to this day, that's still a thing. It's very interesting to analyze how noble people spend their money in comparison to rich people, for the lack of a better term, from bourgeois. I think here in Portugal, it might have happened elsewhere in the world as well. The bourgeoisie was actually the nouveau rich, they were called the nouveau rich, or not in French, but they were called in Portuguese. But the point is, the nouveau rich thing is a much later thing in English. If you think about it in English history and sort of French history even, it's a thing that happened after. Here in Portugal, apparently there was nobility. Portugal, it's kind of complicated. Our crown was a lot more powerful in comparison to Portuguese merchants than, for example, even the Spanish crown was in comparison to Spanish merchants, which is also one of the reasons why the Portuguese Empire wasn't as, quote, successful, unquote, which is just a gross thing to call an empire, but anyway, let's use the word. But it's one of the reasons why the Portuguese Empire wasn't as, quote, successful, unquote, because precisely our merchant class wasn't as developed, mostly because the crown kept a lot of power. And it's kind of complicated. It's very complicated history. Not interesting history, but just complicated for the reasons why that was the case. But the thing is, there was a big backlash against the bourgeoisie here in Portugal, precisely because it threatened the power of the crown. This is in the... I don't remember the dates exactly. I believe it is already in the 1400s. That's where bourgeoisie started to be a thing. I think even before that, but just the name itself. And so for them to be accused of being nouveau rich here in Portugal specifically, and to the point where we learned that in school, and about that sort of backlash against the bourgeoisie here is precisely a telling sign of them just not being noble, so I don't think this, all this to say that that word changes over time and is used today to mean a very different thing than what it originally meant. A little bit like the word proletariat, that today doesn't mean what it originally meant, and we just can't mix those two up. Just because the origin of the word is something different, it doesn't mean that the word cannot be used in a different context. The problem here is that I don't know what he means by a bit bourgeois, and I know what he means. He just says that he's middle class, but I don't know what the writer of the game meant, or what is being criticized here. Like, he's above bourgeoisie? Like... Let's say this one. I wanna make the game tell its own thing. So, you know, because all this stuff is super interesting. Those things all sound pretty nice, those yachts and pale-proof outerwear and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, they're nice things, but once you achieve a certain level of wealth, your time and mental space become much more important than material goods. He speaks from the heart, says our empathy. He has very different problems compared to low net worth individuals such as yourself. For example, no problems at all. Yes, empathy, I know. And so you're saying being rich isn't worth the hassle? What? No, I didn't say that at all. Being rich is great. Just don't tell anyone I told you that. The bending light appears to wink. You're a rich investor, right? Can I have some money? Have I actually asked this of anybody? Because there's a lot of situations where I can ask this. There's at least 3 off the top of my head, but I think there's more. There's 4. No, 3 with this one that I can think of, but I think there's more. And I hope I didn't ask it because it's interesting. It's interesting not to. We should get back to our investigation. Thanks for your time. Why go so soon? I feel we have so much more to talk about. Ah, well, until next time. And our money goes back to 64. This game has such out-of-the-box ways of telling stories. It is so... it's like, how would you even... In the sense that the money changes, I mean, it's just an example, because we saw, we know the modifiers. Like, it's just, who came up with this game design? It's genius stuff, honestly. The making of it is also pretty tricky. This is not a fishing rod, is it? It's, that thing? I don't know what you're talking about there, because I got the thing over here. And here we are, Evracht. And we have things to discuss.
Mr. Dubois, I hear the meeting with Titus was a glowing success. That's such a relief. Titus can be a handful sometimes. Now, what can Everard Clare do for you today?
Remember the container I asked you about? It turns out there's a mega rich light bending guy inside. Mega rich light bending guy? Oh my god, how did that get in there? Slime like him must have oozed in through the cracks. Damn it to hell, Harry. He slams his fist on the table. I specifically told my guys to check all the containers for mega rich light bending guys. What a shallow... Again, it's the shallow thing. It's just sort of like... I mean, I'm sure... Like, the option is good to be there, but this... And I probably will go with that. We'll see. Because I want to see what he replies to that. But I said before... What I said before was precisely the opposite of it. He doesn't want to take the proletariat down. Also, again, the word being used in not the correct context, or not the original context, certainly the correct context, but not the original meaning of the word here. He doesn't want it. It needs the poor, because otherwise who will work for him and make his fortune? Let's say that one. Honestly, Harry, we might be moving all kinds of suspicious things through this harbor, but I won't be caught transporting the light-bending mega-rich. He shakes his head. I have reputation to protect, or a reputation to protect. Well, he just sort of doesn't talk about it, which is sort of a shame. The transportation of the mega-rich should be tightly regulated. Yes, the government should definitely preoccupy itself with the 1% rather than the 99%. I mean, although that could also be a metaphor for taxing the rich, which is a different thing. It's also regulation, for sure. And definitely also preoccupation, for sure. People too. The mega rich are people too. I love it. He was a nice man. He gave me stock tips. No, he didn't. Oh, they're people too. I love it. I love it. It's like cops are people too. I say playing a character who's a cop. Yes, but they're mega rich. For God's sake, you're a socialist. Wait, what? Oh, right. Yes, I'm agreeing with him. Yes, for God's sake, you're a socialist. I'm not sure he is. He should be honored by the presence of his Magnus. I wonder what the I think these are 4 options for our 4 alignment systems in this game. And I think this one is the communist. Because this one is because this one is obsessed with the regulation rather than the bringing down of the whole billionaire class or quadrupleonaire class, as it were. And I think that's what I was talking about before when I said, well, a couple of episodes back. So I'm gonna go with this one because I too have a reputation to uphold. You're right, Harry. I am a socialist. His face turns serious. I'm going to catch the mega-rich guy inside the container and harvest his energy to power the harbor's fog lights. He bursts out laughing. I shudder to think what you're going to tell me next, Harry. Yeah, he was joking, obviously. But we should eat him, for sure. Not for 1 second did he believe there's an actual mega rich person somewhere in the container town. That's what our drama is saying. Ah, well. I met a girl named Estelle who said she's working with you. Funny. The big man lets out a lazy yawn. That doesn't ring any bells, Harry. Funny, the lieutenant says, looking up from his notebook. She was trying to set up a narcotics operation in the old church on the coast. Oh, that Estelle, he taps his temple. Yes, I do seem to remember sending a pretty young thing down there to liven up the place. Get some anodic music in there. Estelle was the microphone girl. Did you also tell her to start the amphetamine lab? Amphetamine lab? He seems taken aback. That sounds very immoral and debauched. Frankly, a health risk. But what do I know about kids these days? The music they listen to, the drugs they do while they listen to that music. He shakes his head with a melancholic smile. Has this game done this mistake already? I hope it has, because I come across this every once in a while, and I think it is this game, actually. This game does this. But I've seen other people do it as well, using melancholy as an adjective. Which should be immediately obvious it isn't, because there's no such thing as an adjective that ends... Actually, that is ugly. Ugly ends with a ly. Yeah. It just, to me, this is immediately obvious that it is a noun rather than an adjective. It's melancholic rather than melancholy smile. It sounds to me like you're trying to start an amphetamine lab in the district, the lieutenant says with an uncharacteristic note of contempt in his voice, and you're using some delinquents you found God knows where to set it up and run it for you. Found God knows where? The big man exhales loudly. That Estelle is the daughter of Miko the Kebab, a man who once killed a guy with a kebab. I think a daughter of a man who killed a man with a kebab can handle running a little nightclub, don't you think? Miko the Kebab, really? Maybe it was Bogowir or Jacob? He stares off into the distance, seemingly trying to remember something. I think it might have been Conrad. I got it, Harry. It was Radogost. Radogost the Kebab, he smiles smugly. But enough of koikos and kebabs. What else can I do for you? Well, that was a mission complete. That was what we came here to do. In fact, here to Evrart. It's not getting marked as, Yeah, it doesn't get the exclamation mark, which it probably should. We don't have any time-based quests, which is good. Although it might be a lie, because I think the game doesn't last forever. Like, that day, things happen every day, so we just need to be careful with that. I want to save, because I think I'm about to make an option that I don't want to make.
Mr. Dubois, every worker, member of the board, how can I help you today?
I have just finished investigating the local drug trade. Ah, yes, your side investigation, thank you, he adjusts his glasses. You've got some spirit clearing up phony drug accusations alongside this murder. I'll talk to the mayor to see if I can get you the key to the city, Harry. Now let's talk real business. He refuses to discuss it further, says our rhetoric. It's probably just a small nuisance to him. Not even a speck of anger in his voice, that's what then. Oh, that's that then, says our empathy. I've not changed my mind, by the way. I'm not working for him. I am not working for him. In a system like this, there's a lot of incentive for the people who work, or the people who not work, but the same people who would rather see this strike broken. There's a lot of incentive for them to make sure that the union leaders don't necessarily look out for the best interests of the workers all the time. So it's kind of complicated to have a black and white attitude towards union leaders, and certainly this game is painting that picture very, very clearly. Because, you know, he's scum. the Evracht, I mean, is scum. Not because he's making drugs, mind you, but although that's related to, that's also because of that, but for different reasons. But he's scum because he's clearly in it for the power, which at the end of the day is really what it's all about. At least in his circles. Although, not just in his circles. So where are we going? Well, I want to go to that lady, the lady in the boat, because she needs to tell me a story. And I need to tell her about a cell. I believe she wanted to know about drugs. So we definitely... I'm holding the tab key a lot, and that's why this shows up. So I don't know where that lady is. I do know that she used to be... I probably shouldn't hold the tab key as much, because it's harder to notice if things pop up, because the circle shows up the moment you get a new notification. But if I'm holding that, the circle doesn't show up because it's already shown up. Now, the boat lady used to be over here, but I don't think she is anymore. I think she's... Yep, she's not. I think she's specifically on the other side. And of course, we still need to find a ruby. So that's another thing. That's our current lead right now. It just... I wonder if I have another shot at this. No. I figured I wouldn't. I think maybe tomorrow. So I think that's the thing that you should try every day, basically. Unless you just really want to specialize in that particular skill. A way to min-max this game, besides save scumming, which you definitely can do, and a way to min-max this game is probably to not specialize in any skill. Like, my character is very specialized in Psyche, but I don't think that's a good strategy. You should have at least 2 or 3 points. At least 2, but probably ideally 3 points in each one of these stats. So yeah, 3 points in each is what you want to do. And the reason for that is because that way you can spend your skill points to retry some of the dice throws. And that way maximize the things that you do. The thing with the Psyche, though, the thing with min-maxing is the passive checks can't be rethrown. So basically, if you don't have, like, maximum Psyche is going to allow you to see things that somebody who doesn't have maximum Psyche is not going to be able to see. So maybe that's how the balancing works. Anyway, I don't remember where the boat lady is. Let's look at the map. We're somewhere over here. So the boat lady is over there. What is that? Why is there... Oh, the plastic tear.
The waves are beginning to die down. Look at those little bastards. Simmer down, bastards.
Why does she care about the waves so much? Asks our rhetoric. What is it with you and those waves? What is it with the waves and the fishermen? She tilts her head and looks at the sea. We need to be out there with them, fishing, making a living, so I asked them to accommodate me. But until that happens, I can try to assist the best I can, she adds with a smile. So what will it be, officer? No, that's not that. I'm looking for someone else, actually. Oh no, I'm not. That's the thing that we asked last episode. I'm definitely looking for somebody. Just not anybody. Ooh, not anybody that she's gonna be able to help me with. The planks creak beneath your weight. Oh, am I putting on some weight?
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
I don't think you can. Does she not tell me about... Oh, I should put that on. Does she not tell me about the story that she didn't tell me about yesterday? Anyway, let's look for Ruby. We absolutely must try the bunker, really, because now that I have the super big crowbar, maybe the bunker is gonna open. Unfortunately, I don't have a super big amount of time, so we're not going to be able to try it in this episode. Next time. For right now, I'm Colonel RPG, and this has been Disco Elysium. I really hope you've enjoyed it, and if you did, go ahead and leave a comment. Like the video if you want to see the next episode come out sooner rather than later. But above all, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you next episode. Bye-bye.